Well, what a hell of a week it's been for Asus. The original concept for this video and what I actually recorded was a year on from the launch of the ROG Ally. Or really close. So let's talk about it. Okay, so it's no surprise that I am a huge fan of the Legion Go, but this video was supposed to be all about the ROG Ally. I had actually gone out of my way, got a fourth this time, ROG Ally, and I'd planned on making a video that was somewhere along the lines of a year with the ROG Ally, where are we now, talk about Armory Crate, all the updates and things of that nature, and then boom, out of nowhere we have the Ally X leak, and I'm like, okay, this video's made, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense in the context of everything that's going on now. And then Asus does Asus things, and they Asus the whole situation with Gamers Nexus and the ROG Ally. I'll link that video in the description down below because it is awesome. It's been almost a year since they did something incredibly stupid that Steve had to come and hit them over the top of the head with. And we just seem to repeat this with the ROG Ally. So I decided to change the direction of the video completely, and it's why or why not you should buy the ROG Ally a year on from the original launch, but also talking about the ROG Ally X and where the Legion Go stacks into that. So this video is going to be kind of all over the place. We're going to talk about the controversy with Asus, the Ally X, the Ally, why I no longer have that Ally anymore, and what we think you should do. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, so I am biased, and if you don't have a handheld already, I recommend the Legion Go. It is beautiful. But you came here to learn about the ROG Ally a year on from its launch, the Ally X, and the controversy surrounding all of that. So I bought another Ally. This is the fourth one. I returned the last one. It had stick issues. The first one I had SD card issues. The second one had a right bumper issue, and the third one had the joystick issue. So I gave up on it. And then right after that, boom, came the Legion Go. And we've had a lot of updates to the ROG Ally over the last 10 months, 11 months. It's almost been a year. And now we have the upgrade coming, the ROG Ally X. And what exactly is that going to bring? So we're going to talk about what that's going to bring, what has improved drastically with the ROG Ally over the last 11 to 12 months, and what is just Asus being Asus, or Asus. I usually say Asus or Asus. Does it really matter? Let me know in the comment section down below. So let's start off with talking about where everything has gone wrong. Okay, so a lot of things have gone wrong through Asus or whoever you want to call them in the last couple of weeks. And the biggest controversy being the RMA issue that just somehow, some way landed in the worst person's lap you could imagine, Steve from Gamers Nexus. It's just incredible how these things just kind of work their way out. Like Asus rolled double dice and both landed on Snake Eyes at the same time and plopped that right into Steve's just lap. It was incredible. You should watch that video in the comment section down below. I'll link that in the description and in the comment section. It's incredible. Great content, great channel. Love Steve. Gamer Jesus. But the basic gist is Asus is terrible when it comes to customer service, warranties, RMA claims, and have been giving nightmare services, fraudulently charging people, fraudulently pulling repairs out of everywhere, fraudulently giving misinformation and terrible wording and all kinds of different things. So Asus cannot in any way, shape, or form handle an RMA, it appears. It just sounds like an utter nightmare from so many people, not just in the ROG Ally space, but inside of 4090s, 4080s, inside of laptops. Several people are having this widespread across doing services with Asus, and it's incredible. And I can't do it justice, but it is absolutely a disgrace. We had this conversation over a year ago with this company, and it just has not ended. But let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section down below. I returned the ROG Ally that I had just bought for this video because of this whole situation. I'm not going to support a company that treats its consumers like this in any way, shape, or form. There are far too many incredibly rich corporations with executives that are just laying people off 24/7, raking in billions of dollars, cutting corners at every possible corner, but and then people who can barely survive get a little bit of spending money. They buy a device that ends up having something defective with it, and then they try to scam them out of every dollar they can. It's a shame. You should be ashamed of yourself. And Asus, you have nowhere to hide. You've done this not once, not twice, but 3 times over the last year, and it is a joke. Now let's move on from that and talk about the hardware and all of the things that have improved with the ROG Ally and with the ROG Ally X coming here shortly. Okay, so with the worst stuff out of the way, if you already have an ROG Ally, should you upgrade to the Ally X? If you don't have an Ally or you don't have a handheld, maybe you don't have a Windows handheld, but you have a deck, should you get an Ally or an Ally X? This really isn't talking to somebody who isn't interested in an Ally, because you're really splitting hairs here between the two devices and many others. But there's a whole bunch of reasons why you might pick a deck, a Legion Go, an Ally, or an Ally X. So we're really just going to be comparing the Ally and the Ally X and where everything came and where we're headed. So the ROG Ally has come in an incredible way since it launched almost a year ago. We have seen incredible improvements in fluid motion frames with performance on this side of things. That requires, at least right now from AMD, a VRR landscape display. And guess what? The ROG Ally has that. The Legion Go does not, and neither does the deck. But with that being said, we've also seen incredible improvements with Armory Crate. This software was kind of a buggy mess, or half-baked, as Nerd Nest and the Phawx love to say, much like the Legion Go software is now with Legion Space. It came out that way, but they have made it incredible. When it comes to optimizing, changing profiles, changing button mapping, changing power, anything you can possibly think of, fan curves, launching games, things of that nature, all of it is pretty much flawless at this point, and it does an incredible job of implementing anything that is needed, drivers and so on and so forth. If you're new to the space, the Z1 Extreme that comes in the Legion Go and the ROG Ally is not officially supported by AMD. This is kind of a back alley way for them to get slightly cheaper hardware so they can make a profit somewhere on the device. Unlike Steam, they don't have a storefront to fund all of these projects. So with that being said, it's not supported by AMD, so you don't get AMD updates to it. You can sideload things, but we'll talk about that in a different video. So that means it's up to Lenovo, it's up to Asus to get these drivers and everything working on their end. And I'm not really 100% sure why they do it that way, like the 8840U, the 7840U, officially supported by AMD. Companies like GPD, AYN, they use those so they don't have to do the back end work. I'm not sure if it's profitable from Lenovo and Asus, but who really knows? If you know, let me know in the comment section down below. But with that being said, Armory Crate has come in an incredible way. I had the device last week. Ergonomics, they grew on me a lot, but one thing that I just can't do is that 7-inch screen. It is way too small for me when I want to be playing pretty much any game. Now, that kind of hurts my feelings because I just bought a clamshell device, and we'll talk about that in the next video, but 7-inch screen, man, I absolutely love the Legion Go's 8.8. It really made me feel the differences, but ergonomically it's great. Battery life is but that is supposed to be changing here. So going from where the Ally has come with massive improvements across the board, we're going to a little bit different scenario. We're getting the Ally X. They're quoting up to 3 hours of new battery life. So it's going to have the same APU on it, the Z1 Extreme. It's going to have the same screen, 120 hertz, landscape, VRR, really nice to screen, 7 inches. And then everything else is going to be a little wonky. They're changing the layout of the main board. This is because of where the SD card reader was having issues. They won't admit that. They were talking to The Verge and they sidestepped around that question extremely hard, but albeit they are changing the location of where the SD card goes. Ports, we don't know what's coming yet. They're claiming 3 hours of new battery life. That's incredible. 3 hours at 15 watts would be just insane. That alone might be worth the upgrade. And that's pretty much it. So with a bigger battery, with changing some things around, the shell is going to change, but pretty much everything else is going to stay the same. There is going to be a price hike going from $700 when the ROG Ally launched up to $800. Will it be worth it? The battery life alone, I think, would be worth $100, but we'll have to see all the other things that come with it. We don't know if there's going to be Hall effect sticks and things of that nature. So if you have an ROG Ally, unless it is worth selling, trying to get as much out of that as you can, paying the difference, the ROG Ally X probably isn't worth it unless that battery life is what you're looking for. If they legitimately can find 3 hours of gameplay at 15 watts, that's going to be incredible. The problem is, MSI made a lot of flipping claims that they didn't back up. We thought Asus and their RMA process, their warranty process, and taking care of consumers changed, but it obviously didn't. Here we are again for the third time in the last year and a half or so. So I'm taking all of this with a grain of salt until I see ETA Prime, Retro Game Corps, and others with the device itself. We're going to try and get one, see if we can do some testing, make our own unique video, and put our opinions out there, because I think it's important for smaller channels to flood the market, let people know your thoughts and opinions, and try to put a unique spin on it. But that leaves us in a really weird place. The ROG Ally is $599 right now. That's a really good deal. And I think if you like that device, maybe you're not going to play on the go very much. You're an hour at most, or you're willing to take a battery pack with you. You're probably better off saving $200. Unless there's a bunch of changes we don't know about. Hall effects joysticks, 3 hours of battery life, better SD card placement, more ports. Who knows? Even the ergonomics could be improved with them having to change things around for the SD card reader on the main board and the battery. So things are still up in the air. There's no definitive what you should do. If you already have an ROG Ally, it's really just a lateral shift in movement to this device. It's not an upgrade. I would say this is a moment to just kind of chill. It might not even be as big as going from the Steam Deck to the Steam Deck OLED, but it might be really close. So at that point, it's all up to you. If you don't have one, I think the ROG Ally X is going to be an awesome device. It's going to do some things really good. But when you're buying a device, you have to think about, well, how can I service this? Or if I have a mainboard issue going through Asus and so on and so forth, what can I do in that scenario? Are they going to take care of me? A lot of us can go to Micro Center or Best Buy, but maybe that's not an option for you. Maybe you don't want to pay $200-300 for that extra warranty. What are you going to do if something goes wrong? I personally just can't support the company. I can't buy the products and want to keep them because, man, just take care of your freaking customers. But with that being said, let me know of your comments, your thoughts, opinions on the Ally X, on the controversy, on where the Ally has come from over the last year or so in the comment section down below. Performance over the last year has improved a little bit, drivers updates, fluid motion frames, and so on and so forth. So we really have come a long way, especially with Armory Crate. I hate giant corporations, Asus, you suck at taking care of your customers, morals, can't support them or want the device. But I do know it is the most popular Windows-based handheld, has outsold everybody else. I prefer the Legion, but you might prefer the Ally. There can be a billion different reasons for it. But the Ally, being as good as it is, pushes, hopefully, pushes Lenovo to make the Legion even better, and then pushes Valve to make the next deck even better, and helps progress us along. So with that being said, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And are you going to be picking up an Ally or an Ally X? Let us know. We'll see you in the next one.